I think that the concept of civilization needs to be invented in a new way, that the old concept will not be successful in the world because it is not accepted in the Western world anymore. It is seen as imperialist, racist, and essentialist. The second point is that the translation in Chinese is not correct or problematic. Again, Wenming does not really translate civilization. Civilization is a Latin term. It comes from city. This means that the civilization idea does not really mean places with high culture. It really was an attempt by a Scottish Enlightenment thinker, Adam Ferguson, to introduce a scientific study of social and cultural evolution. And this is something the whole world needs. Now, I think civilization too is an idea we can all use and can bring us together. I also think that China can make a huge contribution to a new global civilization. And this is the task I think we should concentrate on. I think the Chinese discussion confuses, in a way, two ideas that are different. One is the importance of Chinese culture for the whole world. This is an important idea, but it's not the same as scientific study of civilization. That's quite a different concept. Second one is even more important than the first. The first is important, but I don't think that the problem will be solved by teaching everyone to speak Chinese or read Chinese. Even in China, the understanding of Chinese is declining. So I think trying to build the new world civilization on the basis of languages is a mistake. Of course we have to be multicultural and multilingual, but it's not the key. The key is the scientific approach because we can agree on it. And I distinguish between thin meaning and thick meaning. We all share. Thick meaning we fight about or disagree about. Different cultures see differently. But we understand the thin meaning. So we see, if we concentrate on thin meaning, we can get a basis for unity among the peoples. It's not enough, but it sets a new basis. And I think even in cases where there is great cultural disagreement, we can show a way forward. And so I'm interested in the idea that we should use visual literacy because everybody can see it. You don't have to have good Chinese to like it. You can see it. So I stress the importance of visual literacy. Then I stress music because, again, music brings the world together. We can all sing the same songs. And even songs that are only known in one culture can be presented to another culture very successfully. Of course, I understand. Everybody feels in the heart. So I think a heart approach is useful and can lead us to see language is not the problem. Culture is not the problem. We can understand cultural difference. If we start with thin meaning, is that complex and simple are not in conflict. Simple is the basis of complex. Now we need to therefore use the simple in global dialogue and bring all the peoples together. We would use something that brings us all together. I think we can use mathematics. And the maths gives you the idea. And it's again simple, but makes very complex things possible. Because we can show that if you have concept, you can do something. We need to construct a new world civilization. And China can make a huge contribution to this. The new China has something to offer the whole world. But that implies, and it can be controversial, I can see it, that the old China is not the answer in itself, because the new China is the answer. Old China, very important. I know quite a lot about Chinese poetry, calligraphy, painting, and so on. But it's not the answer for a young boy in Africa. His problem is not to know how to read Chinese calligraphy, or to quote Chinese classics, or to read the 4 books. This is very good, but it's not the answer for that person. That person needs something simple and something that can bring us together. Mathematics will do that. Science will do that. Music will do that. And I also talked about cognitive games, because if you have children, you know they love computers, and there's no nationalism about it. They like it. If it's good, they like it. It can be in your language, it can be in Arabic. They still like it. So we should use this also. And using computer games, cognitive games, we can solve very deep problems of dialogue where we are in conflict. We could use modern technology more, artificial intelligence more, and computer games more. I understand that deep issues cannot be made as simple as I'm suggesting, but we can build up towards them using simple methods. It has a wonderful effect. It is like learning a language. When you learn a foreign language, you begin to occupy cognitive position of another language. And of course you communicate. It's not just that you can ask for the ice cream in that language. You now have emotional link with that language. So we should use new technologies to achieve the dream of a new world civilization. I think it's practical. I think we can do it. I think we have the technology for it. So I'm not speaking against language, against culture. I don't speak against literature and music. Quite the opposite. But I think it's important to start with meaning that is shared. Now the last difficult idea, but it's important I think in the long run, we need to think about meaning in a more naturalistic way. One of the points coming out of the new China had, a very correct idea, but we haven't implemented it. Because we still think human beings are very different from animals. Human beings have something called language. Language makes us different, but it's not true. If you study languages in the natural world, they obey the same mathematics as human languages. So this tells us we have to think about the universe again, not just human beings, the universe. And meaning is natural. Meaning, of course, it is cultural, historical, this is all correct, but it is built on natural meaning. And the meanings we have come from the universe. They are not the result of human fantasy or human mythology. The meaning is in the universe, and we find it because it's there. The same meaning that we use as the basis for building the culture. The culture gets bigger and different. They're different all over the world. They're not the same, etc., etc. But they're equally intelligible. You can understand them using the same kind of intellectual process. So I think Chinese philosophy will be important for the whole world. There's not enough work on philosophy in China, traditional Chinese philosophy, and a lot of the work in the last 20 years is Americanized. They're saying something America does not know. And this is what China must say to the world, not what America does know. And then Zhuangzi is an example, Wang Yangming is an example, there are many others. I think the Chinese case is a bit different because China is one of the greatest cultures the world has ever seen. And we have to communicate what is special about China, not only what is general. So I now say something a bit different because now we want to communicate why is China special and why is China different. And we can do that, I think. You have to find clear example, not too complex, yes, and you have to find quality example. It's a quality thing too. Or if you take, in Chinese case, the same thing, something really strong, we can see it. Poetry too. Even if I read really good poem by Wang Wei or Li Bo or Du Fu, you don't need 60,000 Chinese words, you can feel it. So I think we can communicate the case of special cultures quite well. I don't think it's hard. We have to find simple things, and by simple I don't mean that they're really simple, but I mean that they're easily intelligible. It doesn't mean it's simple in a negative sense, obviously. I think we can do that. I might make this point. China has wonderful calligraphy. Now this calligraphy is probably not as strong in China as it used to be. If you go to the art gallery, most people looking at calligraphy and photographing it, some Chinese, but many, many foreigners, you will see this also. But calligraphy is all over the world, not only in China. So we should get all of the calligraphies of the world together and put a book out and show people that even when you cross cultures and languages in calligraphy, the calligraphy itself can be seen. If you look at good Arabic calligraphy, any Chinese will see it. This is very beautiful. And you can feel the depth. You don't need Arabic to do it. And you can see Chinese one. And you can also look at Japanese and Korean, Persians, and so on and so on and so on. We have to have a sort of science that can meet many people. And art, music and literature meet different groups. We have to have more than one cultural style to meet different groups. And there will always be the great Chinese expert with the calligraphy. But the child can also be taught this in another way, just as the child learns to write the characters. The higher arts can be made the simple arts for all people. And new technology would help us. We're not using the technology. Simple and universally accessible. All people can understand this, not only one or two people. It's universal. Feeling can be motivated by good symbols. It's a mistake to make the symbols too local to your country. If you make the symbol expressing your country only, you have to bring people in through the symbol. And we can do many things to create world. We should have world festivals. And we could do it even on some days that are already festivals. And in the same way, Chinese culture could be given to the whole world. Because we all understand that good culture helps human beings. It's not hard to understand.